everyone. So my name is Dawn, or some of you guys might know me as SG Budget Babe, and I'm recording this video today because this was highly requested from many of you who have been following my weight loss journey on Instagram over the last few months. So you've seen me drop kilo by kilo, and I've gone to shed 10 kilograms in just 3 months alone as a postpartum mother. So I'm going to share with you what I did, as well as you can see behind me the different products that I actually tried. I'll be reviewing each of them as well. So hopefully you can then go and make your own informed decision as to what you might want to do with your own regime and routine to lose the weight that you desire. Okay, so a quick introduction about myself. For me, I actually belong to a bottom heavy body type, and I'm someone with no thigh gap, okay, never had for years. And basically, I'm the kind who puts on weight easily and finds it really hard to lose them. Whenever I'm stressed or I'm going through periods of hormonal changes, such as through puberty or pregnancy, I tend to put on a lot of weight. So all along, I've always been an M size, the medium, and I've been pretty comfortable with my body. But of course, putting on weight during pregnancy took a huge toll on my own self-esteem, especially because I'm involved in so much content creation work, hosting gigs, and even going on video, on camera, on TV and stuff like that. I just felt like I wanted to at least get back to my M size shape, right? So I didn't like that I was an L and sometimes an XL on certain brands. So I resolved and set myself a target. My first milestone, I told myself I wanted to reach my pre-pregnancy weight before I got pregnant with my second kid, which was last year. And then my next goal was that I wanted to get back to my pre-pregnancy weight before I even got pregnant, which was 58 kg. So the good news is I actually did reach that. I'm still a little bit away from 58. I'm like 900 grams away right now, but I did lose 10 kg in 3 months, which I didn't think was possible. So how exactly did I do that? Well, if I were to really sum it up, right, I think it was 80% diet and 20% exercise. I'll be honest, exercising alone did not help me to lose weight. And I'll tell you why in a little bit when I go through the phases of how my own journey was like. I think above that, perseverance is really key, because like everyone else, I believe, you would be struggling with, trying to curb your cravings. You'll be thinking of all that food. You'll be hungry in the beginning, but if you can actually get past all of that, it gets a lot easier. So I felt like, I was struggling as well, and I kept telling my husband, I feel like I want to eat cake, I want to eat pizza, I'm suddenly craving for carrot cake and Singapore hawker food and laksa, and all of these are not good for someone who's trying to lose weight. And I think it's even harder for postpartum mothers because we have just so much going on, caring for our baby, breastfeeding or pumping, and also trying to get ourselves into weight loss and mental stability, getting back into the groove of work and stuff. Wow, it's really, really hard. But I feel that what helped was that I actually had a picture. You can see in my background that I had pictures of myself and how I looked like before I even had kids. And that was my main goal, right? So looking at these pictures every day, especially when I got hungry or was craving something, I would go and look at these pictures and remind myself, if I want to get here, then I have to get past this. And it did eventually pass. So the good news is, if you're struggling right now, okay, the thing is that when you start cutting your diet and you start reducing your calories, your body is going to protest. There's actually a science behind this, and I'll probably detail in a blog post shortly, but your body will protest and you'll want you feel like wanting to eat back to what you did, or wanting to eat even more, and that's why a lot of people suffer from weight rebounds. But once you actually get past that difficult stage, your body kind of conditions itself to get used to a new state of eating and a new state of calorie intake, and then it gets a little bit easier to start curbing little bit by little bit from there. Okay, so really persevere. If you're struggling right now, trust me, I've been through it. Just hang on tight and it will eventually pass. All right, so my first pregnancy weight loss journey was actually pretty surprisingly easy. I put on 14 kg during my first pregnancy. I was in my late 20s back then. And just to caveat, I did not lose any weight breastfeeding. Okay. I suspect that if you're a low supply mama like me, we just don't burn enough from producing milk. So when people say that breastfeeding helps you to lose weight and burn calories, I don't think that's true at all, because if you have to eat so much but you're only burning so little, then where that calorie is going to is probably onto ourselves, right? And I also feel that it was a vicious cycle for me, because I had to eat more in order to boost my milk supply and have more for my child. So I was not only taking my meals, but also snacking on lactation cookies, which were marketed to really help boost my supply. But because my body was not as efficient converting that into milk, a lot of those calories and fat actually stayed on me and not going into the milk, right? So I actually put on 10 kg from eating lactation cookies, which was why my second pregnancy, I swore that I would not eat them. And I was pretty determined, and I did succeed, okay? And the funny thing was that, when I was actually when I first gave birth, I had 10 sessions of postnatal massage, which I felt was incredibly useful, because I actually dropped 10 kilos after 10 sessions. And that, of course, was coupled with daily binding throughout the whole 1 month of my confinement. And I was still eating confinement food, right? So I wasn't depriving myself of anything, but I did lose 10 kilos only to see it all come back to me when I really started with my lactation cookies after that to boost up my supply. So no cookies. If you're trying to lose weight and you're prioritizing that above your breastfeeding, then you probably want to think twice about that, or look for other less calorie heavy or guilty kind of lactation goodies. All right. But for me, because I'm kind of chill about the whole breastfeeding thing, I just tried my best, and I breastfed for a total of 7 months, supplemented with formula milk, because my supply just wasn't enough. I told myself this time that, whatever milk that comes, I'll take it. And I also want to prioritize my weight loss. So did I see a drop in milk supply when I was trying to lose weight? Obviously I did, but I was chill, right? So go with what you think and believe is best for your baby. If you want to really give them the full benefits of breast milk during this period, then maybe you might want to start managing your expectations and don't expect to lose so much weight in such a short period of time until you're ready to stop breastfeeding. Okay, so back to my first weight loss journey, right? And how did I lose my weight back then? So I did lose 10 kg in the end as well. But this actually was a mix of abstaining from carbs, taking in less calories, as well as exercising. So this helped, because during the lockdown, that was when I started my weight loss regime, because I was pretty much done with breastfeeding at that point in time. And because I didn't have to travel to office for work, I used that 2 hours that I would have otherwise spent on transport to exercise. And I did mainly Ting as well as Emi Wong exercises on YouTube. Okay, so that helped me to lose 7 kg in 4 months. And again, that was a mix of less calories plus daily exercise. Now, the last 3 kgs was a little bit more stubborn, and it took me another 3 more months to lose. So you can see the pace of losing weight actually dropped by quite significantly. The last 3 kg were actually done through a lot of trampoline workouts, which many of you have probably seen on my Instagram as well. And it was great, but you know what I learned through it? Now, I had a very bad ascites recti, DR, and my gap was 2 upper abdomen, 3 finger middle, and 3 lower abdomen. And I tried to save money because I didn't want to go for doctors or physio or really go and treat it, right? And I used exercising, YouTubing all those DR exercises and doing it for all these few months, and I still could not fix my DR. So when I got pregnant the second time around, I resolved that this was something I was going to do differently. So let's talk about my current weight loss journey and the ones that you guys have actually seen me through in the last few months. So I gave birth in July, and I actually did a slightly extended confinement of about 2 months. So I only started my weight loss journey proper in October. Now, however, in October, I did not lose a single kilo. Why? Okay, so this was really because I thought that I could repeat the same success, right? So in October, I actually went to do my DR treatments, and I was also exercising because I felt like, hey, if I lost the weight so easily the first time around, I just needed to repeat what I did back then, and I'll be able to get the same results, right? Unfortunately, I don't know if it's because I'm older now and my metabolism has slowed or whatever it is, I did not get the same success at all. So I was in October, I went on no carbs. I went on slightly less calories, less than about like 2,000 a day, and daily exercise, but no results. Absolutely no result, nothing. I didn't even move a single kilo on the scale. All right, so in November, in the early part of November, I went for a cruise, so I didn't take that period into account. And when I came back, I told myself, okay, I'm gonna start again on my weight loss journey, okay, and I'm gonna really strategically do it this time. So in mid-November to mid-December, I actually lost 5 kg in 1 month. Now, how did I do that? The steps are pretty simple. First, I started counting my calories. So I would aim to eat 1,800 calories daily. And on most days, I was hovering between like 1.5, 1.6 to 1.8K. All right. You can use various calorie trackers out there. I'll link to the one that I'm used. I use all free apps. I didn't pay for anything. And I really made sure that I kept my calories count within this budget. Now, on top of that, I then started weekly HIIT exercise. So high intensity interval training. I was exercising 5 to 6 times a week, but okay, this is a little bit embarrassing to say, but because I was so weak, right? I was exercising throughout my pregnancy, but I just didn't have like the strength and stamina that I used to have. So I had to take it easy. I started first with Chloe Ting exercises. Remember, I've been already doing that in October. So I started week 1, week 2 on Chloe Ting and increased the intensity on her workouts. And then on week 3 and 4, I felt strong enough and I was able to now clear Emi Wong workouts. So some people have asked, why not go to a gym? Right? And the reasons were very simple. Because of the pandemic, I didn't want to risk catching COVID and passing it to my unvaccinated kids at home. I also lacked the self-confidence because my stamina and strength were at an all-time low. So I rather much preferred to stay at home and do home workouts with no judgment, right? No one would be judging me. Although I actually think my husband in the background was judging me. He would be like, oh, that's so easy. And I'll just roll my eyes at him because it's easy for him, but not for me. Okay, so yeah, that was why I didn't go to the gym. So that was phase 1. I repeat, I lost 5 kg in the first month, and that was done by keeping to a calorie budget of less than 1,800 a day and exercising 5 to 6 times daily HIIT using Chloe Ting and Emi Wong videos. Now, on to phase 2. So after I've dropped that 5 kg, the next phase 2 was in the last 2 weeks of December, and I lost 2 kilos in these 2 weeks. Unfortunately, I was not able to exercise during this period because I actually pulled my muscle, and it was really painful. I couldn't sleep at night because of how tense and how painful it was. And because, since I was injured anyway, right, I went to take my vaccine. Again, the vaccine also said like no exercising for 2 weeks or no strenuous exercise. But, being paranoid, I just felt like I'll just abstain from exercise for 2 weeks until it's past that safe period. Okay. So instead, during this period, in these 2 weeks, I focused a lot on my diet. And this time, I reduced my calorie intake to 1,200 calories daily. Now, this is tough, all right, and it required a lot of planning. So what I felt helped was replacing meals as well as what I felt was replacing meal options for lower calorie stuff. So like when it came to meat, I would go for chicken instead of beef or pork because those contain more calories and more fat. And also when it came to if I felt like eating carbs, I would do substitutes like cauliflower rice, so on and so forth. So there's lots of great resources online where you can Google for recipes under 300 calories for breakfast and under 500 calories for lunch and dinner. And that easily helps to keep it within or below 1,200. Okay. So the other thing is during this phase, I was trying out a lot of different stuff and I felt that out of all the products that I tried, the one that I really liked was Susenji Mufa Dietary Fiber. So that's actually this product, and I took it daily after dinner every night. So it looks like this. You just have to cut and pour it into water and then mix. It's actually dietary fiber. It's an improved version of the old one. So I've actually been taking it since after my first pregnancy, after I gave birth the first time around, and it helped me back then as well. So I resumed this and I felt it helped. At the same time, I also tried this on I think for about like 1 week or so. I tried another brand, Slimmy Fiber 80XT. This was highly raved and I was served the Instagram ads. I guess Facebook knows I'm trying to lose weight, but I didn't feel like this helped. Between these two, I really much preferred the Mufa because I could feel and see results more clearly. And also it's slightly cheaper. Okay, the other thing also was I tried to see if there would be other alternatives, right? So I actually went to get this, which seemed to work the same way. It's also is Hula Heart and the natural fiber drink. It seemed to serve the same function as Susenji Mufa. So these are the sachets, but unfortunately when I took it, I didn't get the same effect. I don't know if it's because this is milder or what, but yeah, it just didn't give me the same effect, and I didn't feel like I wanted to continue it since it wasn't really as effective. So I just kept going back to Susenji Mufa in the end. So 3 types of dietary fiber tried, and I personally really like the Susenji Mufa one. Now, the ingredients in this is basically psyllium husk, apple fiber, and digestive enzymes, amylase for carbs, proteins for proteins, and lipase for fats. And the thing is that I feel like you can also DIY your own. Okay, so if you wanted to save some money, you can actually buy psyllium husk on your own at any health store, even in your nearest supermarket. Some of them would stock it. It's usually about $10 a packet or so, and add it to your drinks. But if you add it to water, the taste is not very fantastic. And if you add it to juice, you're actually also taking in a lot of sugar, because juice isn't the best either when you're trying to lose weight. It's better if you eat the fruit rather than juice it. So I still kept going back to Mufa even though I tried DIY myself. Okay, so that in that phase, again, phase 2, I lost 2 kgs in 2 weeks, and what I felt worked was cutting to 1,200 calories, no exercise during this period due to an injury, and taking the Susenji Mufa dietary fiber daily. Now, in the last phase 3, and I think I'm now on phase 4, but anyway, in phase 3, I lost another 3 kg in 2 weeks. So this helped me to reach my initial 10 kg goal, putting me back at my pre-pregnancy before I got pregnant with my second kid. Okay, so in this period, what I did was my recovery was then pretty much more or less done. So I resumed my exercise and I did 3 times HIIT each week. This time, I also increased the intensity of my workouts because my body was getting used to Ting and Emi Wong, and I felt like it wasn't as challenging anymore. I wasn't sure if I was burning as much as I was before. So what I did this time was I would actually Google and search on YouTube any HIIT exercise, but the ones that I felt were my top favorites were Natasha Ocean, Growing Ananas, as well as Caroline Garvan. So I'll link these in the description below as well for you guys. On top of that, I also added in 1 weekly strength training each time, and I would do this for about half an hour. I'll do with weights. I was using 3 kg weights, so 2 times 3 kg would be 6 kg, and that was what I was working with each time. Now, in this phase as well, again, this is in early January, I actually reduced my calorie intake even further to under 800 calories daily. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not here to give you medical advice, and if you're concerned, you might want to speak to a nutritionist or doctor to see if that's actually suitable for you. But for me, remember, I was very determined to lose the weight. So I cut to 800. I'll be honest with you, right? It's almost impossible to eat just 800 or less a day. So what helped? Again, the only thing that made it possible for me was replacing one meal with a meal replacement shake. Now, during this period, I continued to take my dietary fiber, but I reduced the frequency to every alternate day since I was already, using my exercises and everything else and cutting down the calories. So I tried various meal replacements, right? Now, my first top choice initially was of Herbalife. I explored that, but when I look into the ingredient list, I wasn't very comfortable with it. You can go in Google and search, and if you're comfortable, you can always try it out, but I wasn't comfortable with the ingredient list, so I eliminated it immediately from my list. The next thing I tried was Prove It. So I have this, right? These Prove It ketones, if you guys can see the box over here. Okay, so I use this Prove It ketone, but the thing is that these are not really filling, and you can't really use it as replacement for meal. So I guess it probably helps, because if I take it in the morning and lunch, I skip breakfast and I had something for lunch which didn't have carbs, so mostly protein and veg, then I guess this would help to burn a little bit. But I didn't follow through with everything. I cleared about 1 week on this, and I couldn't take it because it wasn't filling. There was no way I could use it as a meal replacement. I was busting my calorie budget, so I had to look for other alternatives. And then, Instagram and Facebook shared with me another ad, and this time it was for skinny milk tea as well as True Shakes. Okay, so I tried this too. This was highly raved. I actually got this from a friend. This is Gen 1, and I feel like it didn't really help to give me that feeling of fullness that I was looking for. It tasted good. It tastes exactly like milk tea, kind of like bubble tea, I guess, if you have craving for it. But it didn't really help to keep me full. And I would get hungry really soon, 2 or 3 hours later, I would get hungry. So I didn't feel like that was a good meal replacement for me. I also tried True Shake. So this is apparently really popular, especially in Malaysia. But if you guys know the taste of Malaysia chocolate, right? I guess if you're a fan of that, then you would like this taste, but I'm not. And I didn't feel like the taste of this was, I didn't get satisfied from it. So the taste was only so-so, and this only kept me full for 2 hours. But the good thing is the ingredient list is actually not that bad. I preferred this ingredient list over Herbalife for sure. But because it made me hungry again after 2 hours, I didn't resume it. This is actually my second box. That's why I have some extras to show you guys. I took that in combination with this. So they have a 7-day program, right? And I tried the 7-day program exclusively just on this too for 1 whole week to see if I had results. And no, I was feeling hungry. It didn't really help me drop any weight at all. So I didn't, and I wouldn't be repurchasing. Now, the other thing I tried was also this. So I got this from the supermarket at Cold Storage, and I quite liked it because the ingredient list is great. I always read them to make sure that I'm not giving my body stuff that might have some consequences later, and I thought that this was actually nice. The taste was second best to me personally, and it kept me full for 3 to 4 hours. So this is great, and I might actually repurchase if I want different flavors or different brands to mix it up. But let me share you guys my top favorite. Okay, it's actually this. So this is a Senji shake, and it looks like this. The flavor is of dark chocolate, and the taste is fantastic, right? Ingredient list also is really straightforward. In fact, it's very similar to this one. Okay, both of them have, for example, pea protein, and then this one has dark chocolate powder and oat flakes and chia seeds, whereas this one has stuff like organic coconut MCT powder. I guess that's why it's ketone, tapioca, so on and so forth. So I actually prefer the ingredient list of this. And also the taste is fantastic because it's dark chocolate, and I really, really like the taste. So this actually was the best meal replacement product for me because it kept me full for 4 whole hours and sometimes 5. So I really, really liked it, and I am repurchasing this over and over again because I felt that replacing 1 meal a day with this was the best way to keep me full and within my calorie budget. Okay, if you're wondering how many calories it is, it's only 140. So you can see that it leaves me with my 600 over for the next meal that I would take, which is pretty easy to hit, especially if you eat outside. Okay, so to sum it up, what I felt really helped, and if you guys want to replicate what I did for myself, I felt that, first of all, treating my DR before starting exercise really, really worked. So remember in October, I went to treat my DR. I was using high FEM technology via this machine called BTF M Sculpt, which is highly rated for DR. You can also go for like physio and doctor therapy, I guess. And I heard that there's even surgery for it, but I wasn't a fan of that. So I tried treating it through high fem, and thankfully my body responded really well. So remember, my DR gap after my second pregnancy actually went up all the way to 444. After 4 sessions of BTFM Sculpt, I went down to 2, 1.5 fingers, and 0. So my lower abdomen has completely closed up. There's no more gap. Middle, there's about 1.5, and at the top, there's 2. So I'm gonna be resuming a few more sessions, and hopefully I can close this to like 1.5 for each, or 110. Okay, so we'll see. The other thing, tip number 2, is to control your diet. And I felt that, limiting my portion size, so I would still eat what I wanted to eat and what I felt like eating. If I had pizza cravings at this point, I would eat like just a few bites maybe, but I tried to stay away from those, okay? So controlling my portion size and choosing lower calorie options like chicken, cauliflower rice, and eating lots of vegetables and fruits. I would also take fruits that were lower in calories. So there are some fruits with really high sugar content. I would avoid those. And my favorite fruits was like apples and pears and kiwis. Okay, and also the meal replacement, don't forget. So my top favorite was this. You can try any meal replacement in your market, I guess, but I would really, really recommend it. Using this to replace one meal daily, especially if I was going to be eating out with friends, which meant that we would be eating more than usual. Number 3, the third tip is exercise. So I think weekly HIIT in the beginning really helps to kickstart your body's metabolic burning rate. But your body gets used to it after a while, like mine did. So after that, I would drop to 2 to 3 times daily for maintenance. And right now I'm trying to take up different types of exercising, like, cycling. I've joined my husband on his bike rides and stuff like that. And basically just keeping up an active health lifestyle after that, I think really, really helps a long way. But tip number 4, and I think over and above, you need to set a goal and commit to it. Because when you remind yourself, I think putting a picture of what you want to look like really helps. You can either use Photoshop or put your face on top of someone else's body and try to use that to remind yourself whenever you struggle or you're trying to curb your craving. So I hope that helped. And if I could only recommend 2 products, I would say really get these 2. Okay, this helps, and I'm actually going to be, I love this so much that I'm going to be putting in affiliate link down below as well. These are really, really great. And if you don't want to get anything from Susenji for some whatever reason you're not a fan of that brand, then some other replacements would be this, which you can find at Cold Storage or most supermarkets, as well as any dietary fiber. I guess you could try this, but let me first tell you, it has very limited effectiveness, at least on me. Okay, so I hope this video helps, and I'll put down links to everything that I mentioned below, and all the best in your weight loss journey. Bye!